You are on your knees in the snow, with both hands pressed into a boy named Eddie, and the blood is coming up through your fingers faster than you can push it back. He is 19. He is asking for his mother. You are out of plasma, you are out of morphine, and the artillery is walking toward you across the field, one tree at a time. You are the only man here without a gun. You have never fired a shot in this war. And 40 men are still screaming your name across the snow, like it's the only word left in the language. You promised your own mother you'd come home the same boy. You weren't always this man. 3 years ago, the sight of blood put you on the floor. So how does that boy end up here, hands inside Eddie, deciding who lives? It starts on a wheat farm outside Lincoln, Nebraska. Level 1, the Draftee. You grow up on 80 acres of wheat outside Lincoln, Nebraska, where the nearest doctor is 40 miles of dirt road away. You are the kid who goes white and sits down hard the day your father guts a hog. Blood is the one thing on this earth you cannot look at. Then, it's a Sunday in December 1941. A voice on the radio says Pearl Harbor, and by spring, the draft board has your name. You're 18. Your mother holds your face in both hands on the porch and makes you promise one thing: to come home the same boy who left. At the induction center, a board sergeant reads your file, sees you tested high enough for a technical branch, and stamps one word on your future: medical. You tell him you can't stand the sight of blood. He doesn't look up. Then, he tells you the part that empties your stomach. Medics don't carry a rifle. You will walk into every fight this war has, and you will walk in unarmed. Level 2, the Aid Man. They send you to Camp Barkley, Texas, and try to turn a boy who faints at blood into the man who runs toward it. You learn the pouch that will hang on your hip for 3 years, sulfa powder to shake into a wound so it won't rot, a morphine syringe, a little tube with a needle, 1 grain of relief, the Carlisle bandage, a tourniquet you pray you never have to cinch. They teach you the mark. When you give a man morphine, you write a capital M on his forehead, so the next medic knows he's had his grain and won't send him under with a second. They put a Red Cross brassard on your arm and 4 red crosses on your helmet, so Geneva law says, don't shoot this man. He's the one who saves you. Your instructor, back from North Africa, looks at it a long moment. He says, over there, son, that cross isn't a shield. It's a bullseye. You laugh. He doesn't. Level 3, the Replacement. They stack 10,000 of you on a troop ship, pointed at England, and the first man you ever lose dies before you reach the war. His name is Bell, a rifleman from Chillicothe, Ohio. Seasick and burning up with fever. There's nothing in your 10-pound pouch for it. You sit with him, because sitting with him is the only medicine you have left. Near the end, he presses a photograph into your hand. A girl named Ruth on a porch, and a baby he has never met, a daughter he named June. He makes you promise that if he doesn't make it, you'll put that photo in Ruth's hand yourself. You promise. He's gone before the coast of England. You carry Ruth and June in your breast pocket for the next 11 months. You are going to lose people you could not have saved. The promise is the only part you keep. Level 4, the Beachhead. One gray morning in June of 1944, the ramp drops onto a beach in Normandy. You go in, unarmed, into machine gun fire that walks across the ramp before it's flat. Men fold before their boots touch sand, and the second you kneel over the first one, still to work while everyone else runs, you understand the Red Cross does not make them stop. It tells them where the medic is. A sergeant screaming past yells to tear the crosses off, black them out, blend in. You keep the cross. You'd rather be a target they can find than a soldier the wounded can't. You save 4 men on that sand, and you lose the 5th with his hand in yours, and you write your first M in blood on a living forehead. You are 19. And you do not throw up, and that is the thing that scares you, that you didn't. Level 5, the Company Aid Man. Normandy is a country of hedgerows, and behind every one is a decision you were never meant to make. The bocage, walls taller than a man, one on every side of every field for 100 miles. When a field goes bad, it goes bad all at once. 6 men down, and 1 of you. So you learn the cruelest skill. You learn triage. You walk past the man screaming loudest. A man who can scream can breathe, and kneel by the quiet one whose lungs are filling. You give a dying man all your morphine at once, so he goes easy, and write the M gentle, and move on while he's still looking at you. You decide who lives by who you kneel next to first. You decide it 9 times before lunch. The riflemen stop calling you by your name. They call you Doc, the way you'd say a prayer. You never once feel like you've earned it. Level 6, the technician. The line breaks in the summer, and for a few weeks the war almost lets you breathe. The towns pour into the streets, wine, bread, crying children pressed at you. Because the cross on your arm means you're the one who mends, not the one who breaks. They pin a technician's stripes on you, a few more dollars a month, and you let yourself believe it. Home by Christmas. You think, soon I'll drive to Chillicothe and keep my word, then go home to Nebraska. Then a boy in your company steps on a mine on a road that was supposed to be clear. You spend 20 minutes putting a tourniquet on a leg that isn't there anymore, and he lives, and he thanks you, and you realize the ones you save carry the war in their bodies for 60 years, too. Christmas comes, you are not home, and it's about to get much worse. Level 7, the Bulge. In December, they hit back through a forest nobody was watching. You're back where we started, on your knees in the snow, both hands inside a boy named Eddie. Your plasma freezes solid, so you thaw it inside your shirt against your skin. Morphine freezes too. You keep the syrettes in your mouth to keep them working. Your hands are the only warm instrument you own, and they are always red to the wrist. And here is Eddie, 19, from Minnesota, a hole in him you cannot fill. He's asking for his mother while the artillery walks toward you tree by tree. You have nothing left. So you lie down in the snow beside him so he isn't alone. You put your warm hand flat on his cold face and tell him his mother is coming. You keep saying it, evenly, until the asking stops. Then you write the M on his forehead even though the morphine's long gone, because it's the only sacrament you have. And 40 other men are still screaming. You get up. You go. You keep the company alive by making yourself the one thing that does not shake. You count them by first name at first light. The counting is the only prayer you have left. Level 8, the aid station. You come out of the forest running a battalion aid station. You cross the Rhine in March of 1945. Over a bridge at Remagen, the enemy failed to blow. On the far side, the wounded start coming in field gray. A boy in the wrong uniform, gut shot, 16 at most, bleeds on your table, looking up at the red cross on your helmet, like it might mean the same thing to him. And it does. That's the whole terrible point of the cross. You find you want to, that the only thing you can still cleanly hate is the wound itself. You write the M on his forehead in his own blood. Same letter, same hand. And you cannot tell his blood from an American's. You never will again. You are 20 years old, and you have run out of anyone left to blame. Level 9, the Liberator. In the last spring of the war, you walk through a set of gates that empties every word you know. Your company comes to a camp behind wire no training prepared you for. You are the medic, so while the riflemen stand frozen, you are the one who has to walk in. You do the arithmetic you learned in the hedgerows. Who can still be saved? You who fainted at a hog at 16 keep your voice level and your hands moving, because the ones still breathing need the man, not his horror. You do it all day. You go outside the wire when it's done, and you are sick where they can't see. It is the blood you finally can't look at after all of it at the very end. Level 10, the Veteran. VE Day comes on the 8th of May, 1945. The guns stop. Somewhere, there's cheering. You don't cheer. You take out a girl named Ruth and a baby named June, and you realize you are still carrying a promise you made in a ship's hold. You have somewhere to be. You come home on 85 points. You've had enough since the beach. Your town throws you a supper and hangs a banner with your name. They want the story where the medic is the hero. You give them the parts they can hold, but you do not go to Nebraska first. You take a train to Chillicothe, Ohio, and you stand on a porch you have carried in your breast pocket for 11 months. A girl named Ruth opens the door with a baby on her hip. A little girl named June. You cannot make your mouth work, so you just put the photograph in Ruth's hand, exactly the way you swore in the hold of a ship. You tell her his name was Bell. The last thing he did in this world was try to get home to her. It is the only man of all of them you got all the way home, and you did it unarmed, on foot. You marry a kind girl in Nebraska a year later, and you build a quiet life. And when your granddaughter cries at the blood of a scraped knee, you're already kneeling, steady. You never got over the sight of blood. You just learned to run toward it anyway. You did not come home the same boy, but you came home as the man who kept everyone's promise but his own. Want to know what those 40 men lived through from the other side of your hands? Watch Your Life as a U.S. Soldier in World War II on screen now. Same war, same snow, a gun instead of a pouch.